RPG rules, status tutorial number 10, and we're going to have a look at AddPowersBuffs, CopyPowersBuffs, PowerNulls and Disarms. Basically all ones that change what's in your power tray. So we'll start off by creating a power. What we're going to do is get it so that when the violet aura is up, when the violet ray is being used, we can gain an extra power of some kind. So what will we have a look at? We'll have a bomb, I think, and we'll call it the violet bomb. Clone bomb. It's going to make this violet bomb. We'll make all the parts of that have purple damage. Violet bomb here. We'll have negative purple damage, and we'll give that to Rainbow Guy first of all. Yeah, so we've had this extra yellow ray sitting in there. Good, we'll get rid of that. So overwrite that with the violet bomb. Give it to him as a native power. And we can see that we can now fire off this area effect that explodes. All good. Okay, what if we didn't want him to have this power all the time? So delete that array element, but only wanted it to happen when the violet aura was on. We can go create RPG rules status AddPowersBuff, call it add violet bomb. Oops. Violet bomb. Give it the AddPowersBuff icon in purple. Negative. And which powers is this going to add? Why, it's going to add the violet bomb, so just drag that into the array there. And we can put that in his violet array now. That instead of the payload, we're going to get it to do the add violet bomb there. So when we run, he has no violet bomb till he turns this on, and you can see it's got the add violet bomb power buff there, and he now gets the violet bomb power and can fire off these explosive things. And then it goes away again. Now, I originally wrote that for characters who change form like Morphet, who can turn itself into a fire form, and with that in some fire bombs and so on. I've since redone the way that works with her, because these powers that you add don't upgrade. You can't train up in them or slot them or enhance them or whatever. What I do tend to use AddPowersBuffs for these days is weapons. So if we take the QMAC pistol, for example, I think I need to turn his violet aura on for this to work. You can see that it now adds the QMAC pistol, has add powers single shot and burst. So while he's carrying this little gun around, he's got a buff which adds those powers. And I can use them, can fire the gun, and then if I get rid of the gun, that buff disappears and the powers go away. Collect it again, and the powers reappear with my equipment. So yeah, that's the main use of AddPowersBuffs now, is for equipment that gives you extra abilities. Okay, let's now go to the red ray, which has currently been teleport swapping me. Let's just make that have the one effect. And what we're going to do with the red ray is we're going to use PowerBuff's strange cousin now, the AddPowersBuff strange cousin, which is the CopyPowersBuff. Okay, and we will drop that in the red ray. CopyPowersBuff is going to do the copy powers around. It's as a self effect. The way to think about this is it's like an AddPowersBuff. You want to add the powers to you, not to the enemy. So that should always go in the self effects there of the a power which is copying other people's powers, doing a mimic on them, kind of. And the CopyPowersBuff, we don't want to add any powers. The CopyPower settings, we'll take all powers. We'll have 0 maximum powers. I think that means any of them. I think 0 means no limit. We'll just check that. And we won't steal the powers yet. So let's see how that goes. And we'll just give that an icon as well. We'll take the CopyPowersBuff icon. So the red, let's just check. The red ray should copy someone's powers for 20 seconds when we use it. We'll head down over to that gun robot first. Red ray him, and we've gained his single shot power that he's using now. And that's counting down, and we're going to lose it in a minute. There it goes. What about this punch robot who's fighting us? Copy his powers, and hey, we've now gained his punch and kick abilities. Go and fight, take this radiation robot here on, red ray him, and we've now gained his radiation beam, and can use it. Okay. Sometimes, when you copy powers off people, you actually steal them. And here we're introducing the PowerNull a little bit early. Let's just see how that works, though, if we take steal powers. We can go, right, we're going to red ray you. I think we missed there. Red ray you, and notice he's stopped kicking and punching, because he's now got a CopyPowersBuff that's stolen his kick and punch off him. We've got his powers and he doesn't anymore. Same with that gun robot there, has now stopped shooting at us. You can see my buff and his debuff counting down together. So we've basically stolen his powers. And there are whole different ways you can set this up. You could have an aura that copies certain powers off other people. Let's have a look at that. So we've got a condition here, a power condition. Let's say we can only steal melee powers from other people. If we go to the martial arts robot, we've stolen his powers, he can't do anything to us now. Gun robot's still firing at us. If we steal his powers, however, it doesn't take. It doesn't even, you know, it realizes there's nothing to steal there, doesn't even give us an icon, kind of. Same with this radiation robot over here, the laser robot. You know, we're not stealing his powers at all there. So you can set that up however you like. One set of conditions I find often used with this are the power conditions. Let's see, conditions, powers, power tag conditions, where you can basically say what type of powers are we able to steal. Like we can only steal skills. Synergy, for example, has a telepathic aura that allows him to automatically copy powers from anyone as long as it's a skill. So he'll pick up any martial arts abilities you have, anything like that, but he won't pick up any superpowers. You could say it only works against technology powers and can only replicate them. If you've got some nanotechnology that can copy devices other people have. Only works on mutant powers. You could have, you know, a general one that works on mutant, science and organ powers, for example. You know, anything that's sort of innate to the character but doesn't work on technology. So that's CopyPowersBuffs. Now they were creating a PowerNull. Let's create a PowerNull now. Status effects. Where are they? Where are they? PowerNull. And the PowerNull, we'll put an icon on that. Basically just takes the condition. So let's do that one again. We'll say let's have the red ray now neutralizes melee attacks. It doesn't steal them anymore. So we don't have a self effect anymore. We just have a power null to the target. And that power null is only going to neutralize melee effects. Here we go. Red ray will neutralize his ability to fight. It won't neutralize the gun robot's abilities. When punch robot's power null wears off, you can see it counting down there. He's going to start kicking and punching again. 2, 1, 0, and he's off. The power null has worn off. In the Universe Gun demo, I use this in the prisons. I have these zones which neutralize all innate superpowers, like a super prison would have. You know, so technology and skill powers still work inside them, but anyone who's got actual superpowers gets them grayed out. Yeah, when you play a character and your powers get nulled, they just sort of grey out on the power bar and can't be used. So that's an example of power null there. One final one we'll have a look at. We'll have a look at Disarm. So, yeah, power null was nothing more to show. So with that robot, the punch robot, actually we'll take the radiation robot, the laser robot. Now it has a single power, the drone beam. And we're just going to create a disarm power here. RPG rules, powers, no, status effects. Disarm. Disarm basically robs you of a piece of equipment. And this disarm settings will say to this will take away anything in your left hand weapon or your right hand weapon. We'll give it a little shockwave like I always do in these demos. You can have a special effect that goes off when the disarm happens. And yeah, we'll stick that in the drone beam. So that's effect 1, we'll have a disarm there. I will now go to the store, arm myself with a QMAC pistol. We'll buy a stun baton as well for good measure. Oops. Don't want to do that. I want to deactivate the store. And we'll go over and aggro that laser robot who's now got a disarm power. Whoop. So yeah, you can see he knocked my pistol out of my hand. And I can pick it up again and get ready to use it on him. Do a burst shot. But, whoop, he made me drop it again. I can now arm the stun baton. So I've got that and can now... Whoops, he made me drop that as well. And I've aggroed the knockback robot. So that's how disarm works. There are various settings with that we'll have a look at. You can choose which equipment slots you can take things from there. You can, for example, you know, have ones that remove characters' helmets or pieces of equipment there. You know, have someone that can sort of teleport your armor away, which is something Prince Cosmic does in the demo. Disarm type, we've got pull towards. Let's just go through each of these and have a quick look at them. This is like a telekinetic grab. So we were just using drop, which is default. That, you know, just makes the weapon fall to the floor. Go and aggro that robot with a pistol. Hey buddy. Boom, and that's sort of pulled the weapon over behind him. So, you know, if you're doing this to AIs, they're going to end up having to chase their weapons around. We could have lift up. This is if you're, for example, telekinetic lifting everyone's weapons up into the air above their heads. The reason to keep turning this violet aura on, by the way, is that that's given me an arms skill boost, which is required to use these weapons. Just in case you're wondering. So here's a lift up one. Come on. Boom. So it goes flying up into the air instead. And the final one is steel, where he will actually equip my weapon now. He'll take it off me. So, violet aura, activate store, buy a pistol, go over and aggro that robot. Hey dude, Voop. And I think, he doesn't have the necessary arms skill to hold the pistol, so it's just dropped it. Right, yep. Let's just fix that up. So he's the laser robot. Where is he? Laser robot. Passive powers. It's got rooted and super accurate there. We'll give him another one. We'll give him Guncraft, which gives him a boost to his arms skill. So I think he should now be able to steal that weapon off me. Let's see how this works now. Nope, still hasn't done that. Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Prince Cosmic in the Universe Gun demo does that. He's got a teleport attack where he can basically steal weapons off people with the Disarm there. Other settings in Disarm, we have accessibility. You've got handhold, worn, or embedded. Every equipment data takes one of these settings. Handheld is for things like guns, worn is like a helmet, embedded is if you've got sort of, you know, something that's fully strapped onto you and very difficult to take off, would take like 5 or 10 minutes to take off. So you can specify what kind of equipment you can disarm there. Whether it's, you know, are you capable of stealing someone's helmet with your powers? Can you only knock weapons out of their hands and so on? Yeah, so that's disarm effects. So yeah, that's those four. Add powers, copy powers, power null, and disarm are all methods of changing what's in people's power traits and changing what they're able to do. Yep, and one final note, if you disarm characters who have an innate weapon, you'll see this with the Q-Mark guards, they do have an AI goal to go and recover their weapon, if it's lying on the floor still, if you haven't picked it up. Yeah.